the younger people especially to listen to this. School is in session, dang it. That was really Texan, wasn't it? Dang it, dang it. Okay, I don't know how many of you realize this, but between 1880 and 1930, 27 million people entered the United States. 20 million of them came through Ellis Island, where our grandparents came. John Vanilla, that was our grandmother's brother. He had been here for a few years already. And when he decided, being the only one in his family wasn't necessarily to his liking. So he sent the money to our grandmother to bring her and her husband and their 6 children here to live. That was $200 each, which meant $1,800 had to be wired to New York City to pay for their passage. Their passage, which actually was a 10-day voyage aboard the Rotterdam, along with 2,170 other passengers, in what they call steerage. Steerage is the same thing, or synonymous with third class. Like a third-class citizen, that's exactly what the steerage people were treated like. They were below deck more than above. It just wasn't a good situation. And at the end of those 10 years, 10 days rather, they were so glad to see land. The 6 children that came, it took, can you imagine the courage that it took to pack up 6 children and not come like I did from Michigan to Texas, but to come across the ocean to a land where they didn't even speak your language because you knew things would be better there. When I looked up what were the main reasons for immigration at that point in time to the United States from that area, the first reason at the top of the list was hunger. Things were not good in Europe, not at all. The 6 children that came were Martinez. All his descendants are wearing name tags with blue ribbons. I can't read. Jacobus, which was our Uncle Jay. He has descendants here. Catherine, which is our mother. She married George Smith's. Walteris, which is Uncle Walt, who remained in Little Chute, Wisconsin. Johannes, which is our Uncle John, and his son, Richard, is here. And Henricus, which is Uncle Henry. The journey, this whole thing has been such a tremendous journey for me personally. I can't begin to tell you. I never knew my grandmother. She was passed by the time I was 7 years old. You can't miss what you never had. So, I just never knew her. She didn't mean an awful lot to me. But this journey made me know her. My grandmother, oh, and I want to thank all of you cousins who helped me through this journey with your stories and everything you've shared with me, both good and bad. I thank you. This is basically what my grandmother's life boiled down to. She got married on January 11th, 1901. Pretty much everybody knows she had 8 children. Well, she did have 8 children. And I knew she had Mark and Jake and Catherine and Walt. And then we came upon Anne Maria, born June of 08. Anne Maria died at 5 years of age and was buried in home. Then in September of 1910, John was born. Then in July of 2011, Petrus was born.
2011?
No, thank you. 1911. Petrus was born. But there was another funeral 6 months later because that baby was gone in December of 1912. Then in October of 1912, Maria Anna came along. Another funeral 6 months later. She passed in December of 1913. November of 1913, Henry was born. March of 1915, Marinus was born. God gave her a special need child there. Eventually, he became institutionalized, but she spent a great deal of her life taking care of him. September of 1916, Marie was born, and we thought we're all done. We've got 11 children. And then, from Little Shoe, Wisconsin, Joe got this email. Joseph, I've been going through the records for St. John's Church in Little Shoe. This is where I found the death record below. It's in Latin. The English would read, Day 10, May 1919, Arnaud, son of Cornelius Vandenboom, aged 1 week, passed. 12 children, 8 surviving. You don't think that was a strong woman? That's, to me, it's just, I respect this woman so much that I didn't know and I never knew her. And that's the blood we're from. And you know, the young people here, there's so much crabbing and complaining nowadays about immigrants. And I agree, immigration reform is necessary and illegal immigration, I mean, it's a mess. But don't ever, ever forget that if it wasn't for the grace of God and the guts of your great-grandparents, you wouldn't live here. So God bless America, and God bless our grandparents, and may we always be grateful. May we always, always be grateful. God bless all of you. Now we're going to pass the mic and see if anybody's got any stories for us. I think Dick Vanderboom does. Is Richard here? He'll be here in a second. Oh, Joe needs to explain to you about the genealogy.
Now, I know that many of you may not even have a computer, and that makes no difference. But if you're going to have access to a computer at the public library or your school or what have you, I've set up a website which has got a family group on it, which currently is called VDB, that stands for Vandenboom_11. And this was all done prior to finding out Arnaldus had entered the world briefly, and with us for a week. If you go to www.myfamily.com, it will ask you to enter to sign up, enter your name, your email address. I forget what all it is. But it'll be on Much Dutch, the address to it. Also on the CD that I'll be passing out to the major members and computer literate members of your different families. There's information on how to go to that, as well as the current the database as current as it is up to the 7th of this month. Needless to say, the one nice thing about a family tree is it continues to grow. And the more information that you all can provide, the bigger it will become. And we look forward to y'all sending in pictures also.
Dinner was really good.
Will be included on that website and in the database. These pictures that you see out here, you see up there, they will be on that website also, and it'll be accessible to everybody. All you have to do is register. You'll get on that first page, and it says request membership or whatever, the red button up at the top. Click that, it'll send me an email. with your email address in it. And I will approve you, after I've made sure that you are a member of the family, I'll approve you for access to that website, and you can go in and it'll have the family tree on it, which you can download and have a spot where you can upload pictures, and it'll have all the pictures on it that you can download as well. So it's been a labor of love, and I really love seeing all of you here, and I hope some of you younger kids pick up the effort and carry on, because this is so important to the history of all of us, especially our children as they grow up. Thank you.
What's the website about?
Before I give the mic to Richard, I don't think that Julianne Claire Williams arrived here tonight. I think she was a no-show. And that's a shame, because I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. But I can wish a happy anniversary to Richard's son, Greg. He and Kara and their little boys are down here. There's he. There he is. Happy anniversary. My final story, because all of you may not understand this. Every one of our name tags has one person on it, except for 4 people in this room. And they have both of my parents on it, and that was done very deliberately, because we Smiths were really, really lucky, because we had a brother from another mother. When my dad welcomed Bill Van Roosmalen into our home to live, sponsored him to come and become a citizen, and God love him, he was just such a wonderful man, and it's very unique. It was my dad's nephew that came and married my mother's cousin's daughter, Catherine Vanderpool. So they're from both sides of the family. That's the Van Roosmans. Okay, who's Richard?
Good evening. I hope you can hear us in the back. My name's Dick today. I used to be called Rich and a few other names growing up in the Vandenboom family. I'm the one that was quoted in the paper saying we had 130 kids go to St. John Berkman's all at the same time.
36.
36, they're correcting me. It seemed like 100 at the time. By the way, this Dutch heritage thing, Kathy's cleaned it up a little bit. I told her the real saying is, if you're not Dutch, you're not much. Anybody agree? All right. I could probably stand up here and talk for an hour on the experiences growing up with the Vandenboom clan. Believe me, it was an experience. Those chuckles I'm hearing are from some of the older cousins. But I want to tell a little story. We are wide and spread even wider with our family across this great country. I will celebrate 50 years of marriage in about a year. Dating a girl out in Kansas that was in the Air Force. She gets a job teaching in Omaha, Nebraska. All you St. John grads will recognize Omaha. The last day of school, she's boxing up all of her teaching aids. And the principal came in and said, "Joyce, what are you doing this summer?" Joyce says, "Well, I'm going to go back to Boonville, Missouri." Obviously, we're widespread. "And I'm going to get married." And the nun said, "Who are you going to marry?" She said, "Well, you wouldn't know him. He's from Michigan." Nun said, "Give me a name." She said, "Dick Vandenboom." The nun says, "Oh my, I not only know him, I know all of them." Sister Bergetta for you old timers. Servite nun teaching at St. John's High School, or St. John's Grade School. Later to become also Servite High. So So I just want you to know, there's lots of us. It's been a ton of fun. I could tell you some stories about some of these older guys. I vaguely remember as a young man wondering what all my older cousins were doing out on the front porch. Turns out they were having kissing contest. Who could hold it the longest? Where's Corky? I think he was one of them. He's smiling, so it was. So once again, join me in thanking Kathy and Diane. They did a great job. I conned her into it. I'll take the credit for it. And thank you those who sent pictures. You can come up here and see some you probably have never seen before. And it's been a pleasure working on those. And those that may have some additional ones out there, golly, please email them to me. I'm not hard to find. We'll add them to the group, and we're going to get them posted so you can download.
They are posted.
Thank you so much for coming. One more thing. When I was interviewed by the gal that did the article, she said, what is the one thing you're going to walk away from this gathering? I said, there's only one thing I want to do. That's stand up in front of my cousins and look at what happened after us. Thank you all for coming.